welcome back to another Bailey Art Live. I'm going to be here with Kimberly from Sky Creations. We're going to make a Summer Vibes cake topper, which was voted on by the audience, including the project and the theme were. So we're super excited to get started. Say hello, Kimberly.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Andrea.
Hi. We are really excited for this one. So the idea behind this project was that we gave Kimberly this kind of base idea of a project. It was a cake topper, but it was pretty simple. So we asked her to absolutely Kimberlyify it. And she came through, of course, with her paper flowers. So we'll be doing some paper flowering today. But before we get started, I'll go ahead and say hello to everyone in the chat. I'm looking at YouTube's chat right now because I only have one device to look at. But I'm going to say hello to Sandra from Colorado. Hi to Sue from South Jersey. And no, Sue, we did not forget about you. We've got Roseanne. Hello. And let's see who else. We got Adheed from Germany. Barbara from California. Francis from Texas. Nice. We are also in Texas. We've got Lori from from a very wet Wisconsin. So I'm guessing it is raining there. Opposite from here because it is hot, hot, hot. And we've got Ricio from Los Angeles, Joyce from also in California, Orange County. And looks like Roseanne says she's in SoCal herself between Los Angeles and Orange County. Very cool. I will thank everyone for joining us today. We're very excited for this project. This is our first guest crafter in a while. Usually, Kimberly is, I guess you could say, our new thing is that we usually do one around Thanksgiving. So it's a little bit different doing it in a summer project, but we are very excited. This project is called the Summer Vibes Cake Topper. It is on our website, barely.art, for free. Go ahead and check that out, download it. And also, just a note that all these pieces, that although it's in one project, all the pieces that she used to design this project were different Barely Art free SVGs. So it just goes to show you that you can make an awesome project and have, just some really simple SVGs that ready for you. So you don't need like the most expensive, the craziest projects from online. You can make something really beautiful with, just your creativity. All right, Kimberly, we are. Oh wait, we've got Francis. He says it is so hot in Texas today, in Dallas, Texas. Yes, so we are in Arlington, Texas, which is between Fort Worth and Dallas. And Kimberly also is from Texas, but she is in El Paso, which is very far
Yes,
away, but still very hot.
yes, it's been very hot over here. I think to get to your location, I think we said it was like 9 hours away. So we're on the opposite side of Texas, a different zone. Um, but we are here in Texas. And I'm actually looking on Instagram. We have a few people from Texas too. The things and stuff by Nicole. She's from Texas and she's connected. And then someone from Austin, Texas. Mum's the word Texas. And then someone from Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow. Well, welcome everyone, especially all of our fellow Texans. And then we
Perfect.
can go ahead and get started. I think, Kim, if you want to go ahead and walk us through this project, we have
Okay,
all the pieces cut out and ready.
perfect. Okay, so when I make toppers, I do like to make all the bits and pieces first. And then that way, when it comes to assembling, it makes it just easier that you kind of piecemeal everything together. I know the most time consuming part are the flowers. So if we start with the flowers, I think that would be a nice thing to do. We can start with this particular template. You'll see here, it's a pink flower. It's from the Barely Art website, and you'll have 3 pieces of these. And with these, we can make them much more three-dimensional by doing a few things to them. I'm going to actually layer them one on top of the other. So you have the 3 pieces. And what we're going to do is using your thumb and index or pointing finger here, you're going to crease upward and you can use your opposite thumb to make it crease. So you're making like a little, like a V almost,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go all the way to the center as far that you can go. I like using, is it 65-pound paper, the one they have at Michael's? It seems a lot easier.
Yeah.
If you go too thick, it is hard to make small flowers. So just keep that in
For
mind when
sure.
you're. trying to cut and get ready for a design like this. So I'm going over them a few times, just pinching them, middle pinch, and you'll see all of them are done here. And Andrea, you have a handy dandy mat there, which we're going to use now. If you don't have a shaping mat, they do sell them like for crafting. But if you have like a mouse pad, you can always turn it around and use that. That's a good little hack that you can do. We're going to separate the three petals and you're going to get a shaping tool. It has like a little ball at the edge. And what you want to do is just like in a circular motion, press on it, and you'll see that the flower is getting more like cupped and upright, and it's not as flat. So if you see this here, you can see all of the dimension. Yes, exactly. So we're going to do that with all of the layers. And usually there's one that curls a lot more, and you can actually pierce it down a little bit rougher, and you'll see that it's much more pointy. And that's
Mm-hmm.
usually the one I will use on the very top layer. So you want to start from the bottom. You'll get the flattest one you have. You can put some glue in the middle, and then you'll get your second layer. And you're going to stagger the petals. So you don't want to layer one on top of the other because then you lose the dimension. If you stagger the petals, you do add more dimension, you add more flow to them here. So the base is this one, and then the second layer is this one. So you are staggering them. And then next would be the top layer. And we put our Barely Art glue on here. I like using the fine tip because I get too messy with the wider tip, especially with small flowers like this. And you can use the shaping tool to kind of push down and just help the glue get in all the little crevices that we made with the shaping tool.
Mm-hmm.
So here is this. And we have our
So
first flower.
cute. Wow. It looks so
Yeah.
good. I think,
So this is,
Kimberly, you are one of my favorite flower experts. I think you are one of the first people that were telling us about how you stagger it and how you can fold the petals to make a different shape. And even the same flower cutout could be end up looking as like a different flower just depending on how you pinch or curl things.
yes, exactly. So they're very versatile. You can add more layers, less layers, just depending on what kind of look that you're looking for. And here for the center, on the design, we had like a little white circle as a place setter. You can either use
Hmm.
that if you wanted to. You can put glitter, little pom-poms. I'm going to use like the little confetti tubes for now. So I would just put some glue in here. If you have beads or anything, you can use that as well. The options are endless, so you can definitely make this your own.
I need to reach my glitter. I
And
never get a
we have
chance
our
to use
first
glitter,
flower.
so I'm going to take that opportunity today.
Yeah, yeah. I tend not to use glitter. I'm not very careful with how I pour it, so I tend to make too much of a mess. And I can't blame the kiddos. They don't have access to my glitter, so I won't get away with it if I drop them. But
That's
flower number
funny.
one is done. It looks great. Yeah, a lot of
Very
dimension.
cute.
So that's our first flower. The next one will be this one here. It's a very simple pattern. It's 6 little petals. And this will only use one layer to make this flower. And so it's going to be very simple, but we're going to make it with a twist. So we're doing the same thing we did earlier, where you take your 2 fingers and the other thumb through the middle and pinch it in half. So you're making your little like V again, like your little taco.
Okay.
I think using food as an example always helps. You can relate to it a
Agreed.
lot more. So you see that I'm not being very gentle with these flowers. These flowers are much more, um, they're not as delicate. So once you have it
Hmm.
all there, the next step we're going to do is we're going to get our thumb and our pointing finger again, And we're going to pinch the middle, like the very, very tip, and kind of like pinch it sideways. Do you see that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to do that with all of them. And you're kind of making it look like the paper, like windmills, the ones you would see like at the carnivals and different
Uh-huh.
school events that they have. So I thought doing that actually helped it look very Hawaiian, very like luau and tropical themed.
So cute. Looks like a
And
tiny
there
little
you go.
sun.
Yes, definitely. So this will be our flower. You can put your little white center on it or put glitter on it as well. And we do the same thing with the next petal. And you can actually layer these. So if you wanted to make it more dimensional, you could print 2 layers instead of just one. And it just really depends how you would like. So pinch through the middle and then you grab the tip and go sideways. Yeah, I like the sun analogy too. I think that's a good way of looks like a
It
little
kind of reminds me of that flower from Rapunzel, that magic one, or from Tangled, that blue one.
yes. It really does. Now that you're saying it really does. So we have our very nice simple flower and we can just add some little confetti tubes or glitter in the middle. And these, just depending on the style that you're making for your topper, you can either use the same color as your flower or you can do like a contrast. I'm going to do a contrast today. That way it's much more colorful.
Cute. I have only one big thing of glitter with me, so I'm just going to keep using this gold
Yes, yes,
glitter.
yes. You're God.
I'm going to sprinkle this over the trash can, though, because I will make the biggest mess.
See, and it's simple. It does look like the tangled flower. That's a good way to put it. It has some dimension. It's a little bit flatter than my normal flowers, but it's a good, just like filler flower to put with the rest of them and adding color and a different shape as well.
Glitter everywhere. We've got Lori. She says it does look like the flower from Tangled, and she's like, amazing how different it looks folded. I totally
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So use your fingers, use your tools, and or find tools around the house. And if you don't have like particular items like these, like the shaping tool, if you have the
Mhm.
mini like quarter teaspoons that are round, you can use that as well. So if you're a baker or like to cook, you might have that instead, and you can definitely use that. The next flower we're going to make will have a few different layers. You'll see there's some petals that are larger, so there's 2 of those, one that's a middle size and one that is a small size. And I'm going to move the mat so you can actually see a little bit better. Okay, and you want to go ahead and get the biggest layer and stack both of them together. I think I have them the wrong way. So stack them both together and you're going to use your scissors to cut in between the creases or the like where the cut goes further in. You
Mhm.
want it to look a little bit more like a clover where you're going inward. Don't go past the middle because then you're going to chop off your petal. So you want to
Gotcha.
go in, do a slight cut, and this just helps so that when we shape our flowers, they're not as flat.
Mhm.
So you'll see it here. You can really see the difference if I were to fold the petals. They kind of look like hearts. Each individual area looks like a heart now.
Cute.
Yes, and we'll do that with the large size. We'll do that again with the medium size, like this, and then finally the smaller size. I've had a few instances that I cut too far and it makes it a little bit difficult. Just take it easy on the on the flowers and the scissors. So
Gotcha.
we have our 3 different layers. I do like starting with the small layer. This one, if you don't have like a paper quilling tool, you can use like what you use to weed vinyl. So you see the little nice fine tip on the side of the vinyl weeder. And
Mm.
then you can also use either a toothpick or a kebab stick, just depending on what you have. And today I'll be using like a little kebab stick. And what we're going to do is roll both sides of the petals inward. So you can kind of see it there. It's going in. We're making like a
Okay.
burrito now instead of a taco. Going a burrito route.
More food.
Yes. I think I'm hungry. It's lunchtime and I didn't have lunch. So we have that, and you'll go ahead and go around and do the same thing for every single little heart or shamrock that you have here. And it's going to look a little funny. It's going to look a little like you're curling too much, but once we put it together, you'll see why you want it to be like very pronounced, and it'll turn into a flowy flower. So this is what it looks like once you've rolled everything. You can see all of them.
Beautiful.
A nice soft roll. We didn't have to pinch at the beginning. Okay, so then we'll do the same thing with the medium size. And I see, Andrea, you're cutting all of them all at once, right? That way you
Yes.
have everything cut. So we're rolling in, just like this. So this is where we're going to also use our shaping mat and the roller, and do the same thing we did with the pink flowers. We're going to do with the white petals here. We're going to
Okay.
softly do this here. This is our top center layer, so you can do it a little bit harder. You do want it to have a good like dimension. And then we'll do it with the medium layer as well. And this just helps so that you have the flowers more upright, like cupped up instead of just flat. And then what we're going to do, this is a small layer. We're going to take one petal and put the next one right next to each other, kind of overlapping and closing the circle here.
Oh,
I
yes. I
forget what
remember
we
you
used
showing
the
this.
last time. Yes, I can't think of how I explained it the last time, but when you're done, you have a little bud here. So you start with one petal, go on to the next, and so you're kind of lifting them up, and you have a little bud. Just what you have
Gotcha. And that's
here.
for the smallest one?
Yes, so for the smallest one, you'll do that. Perfect. Yes, perfect. And then once you have it like this, you can also twist it slightly, and you're kind of closing the bud just like this. So it
Okay.
doesn't look so open. It looks like a flower or a rose center, and that's what you want it to do. Perfect. So now this
Awesome.
will get glued inside of the medium layer, right in the middle. You don't necessarily have to stagger the petals, because once you start placing them for the bud itself, you don't see that they're not staggered.
Gotcha.
See, so this is the middle one. I just kind of pushed the medium layer petals upward. I didn't really pull them all the way, but this is what you have. I know flowers can be time consuming, but I just love it. Yes, perfect.
They always turn out so beautiful.
They do. It can be time consuming, but they are worth it, definitely. And the next one, we are going to do something very similar. So just get one of the large petals, and you're going to roll down on one side and roll up on the opposite side.
Oh,
So you
okay.
kind of have like a wave. So you're making like a little S when you're looking at it through this.
Gotcha.
Okay. So do the same thing. I usually like roll all the petals down one way and then flip my flower around and then roll those down, because now it's the opposite. So just like that. Okay, so we have one layer, and we'll do the same thing with the next large size.
Gotcha. So one side down, one side up into a little S.
Yeah, a little S. And I go back, I don't know if you see, I go back and I kind of force it a little bit. This is where you want to be a little bit more gentle. I'm not really folding it. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
softly like creasing it. And depending on the paper and even on the color, you'll see the creases a little bit more. So you'll get
Mm-hmm.
to learn which colors or papers you like more than the others because of that.
Gotcha.
And then we are forming our flowers. And when you do this, it just creates a little bit more volume. You don't have to do it too much. And then we will assemble those. I'm going to go to the other white flower and do the same thing while you catch up, Andrea. I'll catch up
Okay,
because
sounds
you've been doing it all at one step and I didn't do it all in one step. But
good.
I'm going to play catch up a little bit.
I've got immediately have glitter all over myself now.
Especially if it's that like really fine, like sanded glitter that it's just, it seems
Yes,
like
the
there's glue in it or something that makes it extra sticky.
sticks to everything. Which I like glitter, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It's just it's fine until you're trying to eat something and then there's glitter on your tacos or burritos or something. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think I want to eat the glitter. I know I shine inside out, but
Oh, that's hilarious. No, I don't know about, I mean, if it's edible glitter, maybe we can give it a try.
Have you had edible glitter before? I've tried it in a drink that we and my friends did for Galentine's, and it was interesting for my experience.
I had one at one point, like I guess the people we were with, they put it like in champagne, but I just got water and so, or lemonade or something. And it
Mm,
didn't do anything to the flavor, at least on the one we had. It was just more the like the swirls and the look of it, but it
yeah,
didn't do anything as far as flavor wise. So I kind of expected a little extra sweetness or something. And I didn't get it. I
it
didn't
didn't do
get
anything to the flavor,
that.
and also it kept settling at the bottom of my cup, and so at some point I just got like a mouth of glitter, and that was
Oh,
strange.
not as pleasant as you would want it to be.
Yeah, it looks great. Mouthful of glitter doesn't feel great.
Oh no. Maybe I've seen some that are more like the cotton candy ones. Instead of the glitters,
Ooh.
I think there's edible cotton, like cotton candy for drinks. So it kind of dissolves and it doesn't get clunky at the bottom. So maybe that's a good
Ooh.
next thing to try out. So
Someone
now,
out there had the same experience as I did, and they said, "This can't be the only way."
yeah, maybe we're doing
So
it
they made
wrong.
cotton
Someone
candy
please
ones.
let us know.
Yeah. We've got Lucinda from Temple, Texas. So you're also in the heat, Lucinda. Hello, welcome. And Adahil says, looks like a daffodil. Oh, I
Oh,
know what daffodils
daffodil.
look like. Yes. I was trying to think and then I remember. I love flowers. I have like books of different types and things, but I don't remember anything. I
Like the
don't
names of
the
the
information.
actual flowers.
Yes, and I always want to. I always want to be like, "Oh, I want to be able to pass by a flower and be like, "Oh, yes, that there, that is the Cosmo." But I know so very little, but it is fun to be able to find them and what they are and what they can do.
Oh yeah. And I think there's so many variations of flowers, so you can get a template and then redesign it or resize it and try to mimic like a flower that you
Mm.
see. So that's very
There's
good too.
some Yes, there's like these flowers here with the cardstock are like they are like crafty flowers, I guess you could say, but I've seen some paper artists where they're not really crafters, but they're artistes, and they
Mm-hmm.
do like realistic flowers and with paper, usually crepe paper, and that's pretty crazy to see
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
They are.
So what I'm doing now is I'm layering the two bottom layers on top of each
Mm-hmm.
other as a staggered layer. So they're not
Gotcha.
right on top of each other, they are staggered.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll need to at some point try the crepe paper flowers. Those are really nice and very realistic
They
as well.
are nice. I got crepe paper, but I'll be honest, it scared me to to try, so I haven't been able to give it a shot yet. But I was like, oh, I don't think I can do it. But it's that's just the silly little brain talking.
Oh, add it to your to-do list. It's never ending, it
Yeah.
seems like. Okay, so now the layers on the bottom are put on there. You can grab your middle and top layer buds together. Here's one, and it gets placed inside of the bottom layer. So I like that the glue is forgiving, that it doesn't dry immediately. So it lets
Mm,
me like shift the layers around if I needed to. And then I use
mhm.
the shaping tool just to press it down and make sure that it actually stays intact and it's not just like floating in there because of all the volume. Here's the flower.
Oh, so pretty. And here is
Yeah,
mine.
there you go. Perfect.
It looks pretty good. I love it.
And we'll get our second flower, kind of close the bud together again and place it on top of the bottom layers. And that's the nice
Lori
part with
is
flowers.
hmm?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Lori is a big fan. She says, "Wow," and Sandra says, "So pretty."
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Glad you guys are enjoying this. See, I told you guys, Kimberly, Queen of Flowers.
Here's one. So it's very interesting. We
Beautiful.
had a flat cutout petal, and we've made it very dimensional, very flowy.
Very different from where it started
Yes,
in
very
the absolute best way.
good, good, good. So the last flower we have is this like light purple one that I have here,
Mhm.
and it's 3 layers. This one is simple, where all of them we're going to crease upward. You can use the end of your weeding tool, you can use a quilling tool, just anything to curve it upwards and like that.
Okay.
Nibble all around. I have someone on Instagram asking if you ship internationally, Andrea, and that they're from Chile. ¿Y dónde se consigue el pegamento? Which
Mm.
means they're from Chile, and where do we get this glue? Can you ship internationally?
We do not, unfortunately, ship internationally on the Bailey website. However, we do have a page on the site that is called our retailers page. And so other people sell our glue for us in different countries. I don't know if Chile is one of them, but you can go on that page and find out. It's on the top of our website, bailey.art, and it's on the menu. It says retailers.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully they're able to understand. If not, I'll translate for them
Or maybe one of our wonderful followers will let them know in the
in the
comments.
comments. Yes. So that's nice that you have other retailers, so you're not able to ship directly, but you are able to get the glue one way or
Yes, the
another.
dream is to have Barely Art glue all over the world one day from us. All right, Grace was kind enough to look it up for us, and she said that unfortunately we don't have any retailers in Chile right now.
Okay. So this is what you have at the end. Kind of looks
Ooh.
like a mum flower when you think of it that they're like kind of closed.
Oh, uh-huh.
when you're curling it, I ended up just doing something. I curled too aggressively and one of the petals fell off. Don't be as
Whoops.
aggressive as I was. So I'm going to actually use this one as my bud because the bud, I always close them in more and you won't see
Mhm.
that that one little petal is gone. So I'm just closing it upward for my bud. And then the other two, I'll use the shaping tool to kind of close them as well. And you just layer one on top of the other, staggered if you're able to. I know there's a lot of little petals, but if you can stagger them, then that's perfect. It looks a lot like more of a desert flower.
Ooh.
Then your top layer. And this one, I don't think I'm going to put any glitter in the middle because trying to get it in there is going to be a little difficult. You're not really going to see it. So it might just be better to leave it alone. So this is what we
Oh,
have
yours
here.
is good. I did not curl mine enough, but this is mine.
Okay, yes. It looks good though. It looks like at least here we have like little flowers on the cactus and it's kind of just there, a pop of color.
Pop of
Perfect.
color.
So our flowers are done. Those are usually the most time consuming. We can start layering the rest of them. So let's start with our sunglasses. We are going
Ooh.
to layer a sun and the sun is going to wear some fancy sunglasses. So with
Ooh,
these, I'm going to
fabulous.
take out the, there they are, remind me, they're cubbies or cubies?
Cubies.
Cubies. Okay, so we're going to take out the
Mm.
Berry cubies, and in the center, I just put a little square. I'm using the regular height one, not the tall ones. I think for this, it's perfect height for it. We just want to add a
Perfect.
little bit of dimension without it being too much.
Too googly eye looking.
Yes. So we have our hearts, just like this.
Cute.
And then we have our sun here. I do want to add some dimension as well. Let me see if this is going to work. Yes, so we can flip it around and put a few squares here and there. I know some of our crafting friends are very, very generous with their QBs, and some of us are a little bit more aware of how much we're putting in there. I don't see the ladies that would recognize that comment on the lives, but it'll get back to us.
I know the people do. I have seen some. It's just like basically an entire layer of full on cubies.
Yes, yeah. And I think there's certain projects that it works really good with, but like since the
Mhm.
sun on this project will be on the top, you kind of still want to keep it lightweight. So for
Right.
us, it's a benefit for it not to be so heavy. So here you have your layered sun. You can get um, your little sunglasses. So we're gonna need glue on like the edges of the sunglasses heart. So I'm gonna just put some glue. You can always put like a cubie here in the middle if you don't want it to dip in, but that's really just a preference.
One.
Let's see, there we go. Oh, you
Um,
use like a metallic paper, huh? That looks really nice.
Yes, I love my metallic paper. It's my favorite. I'm a sucker for all the
All the
shininess of it.
shininess. Perfect. And then we can continue on with the palm trees. I do layer these as well. With this particular design, two of the palm trees will be going to the right and one will be going to the left. So if you're
Gotcha.
assembling this, like this exact topper, just keep that in mind so that you don't have it the wrong way,
Okay,
or else it
two
won't
to the
all
right,
line up.
one to the left.
Yes.
Alrighty.
And then we start placing the palm tree leaves. I did put some cubies in there for some dimension.
Got to
And
mention the dimension.
yes.
Mhm.
And I need to figure out a way that's best to remove all the little papers. I'm always
I
working
know.
with my kiddos everywhere, and my nails grow out so nicely, and then all of a sudden they all chip. And I'm like, okay, now this is going to be difficult.
Yes, after sometimes when I break a nail and then I'm trying to get the QB off, it's just there's not a lot of like the paper sticks right under the thumbnail, and I'm like, oof,
Mhm.
okay, use more of my side of the thumb.
Yes, yeah, no, I've had that happen a few times. And then the little papers show up everywhere in the house, even places that
It's a
they've never been.
dangerous world being a crafter.
So we have the base of the palm trees, and this is more where you can just kind of, um, at your own liking, you can either glue the coconut base and top together, or you can put like a QB in there, or do some yes, some no, and then just depending on how you're wanting to make it feel and look.
Awesome. Okay.
And I like doing some with glue, and then the rest I can do with the QBs.
Mixing it up. I like to see it.
Yeah.
All right. And guys, if you are just joining us, we are here with Kimberly from Sky Creations. That's SKYI Creations on Instagram. And she is one of our design team members, longtime friend of Barely Art, and flower queen in my mind. She's taught me so much about paper flowers. I was over here with two-dimensional flowers like a silly, silly girl when I could have had these gorgeous 3D flowers this whole time. So watch the entire live if you have it. If you just got here, it'll be on YouTube, the whole thing. And we are making a Summer Vibes cake topper. And we chose Summer Vibes cake topper because we actually let you guys choose. On our Instagram, we had everyone vote for what kind of project we want us to see and the theme. So everyone chose cake topper, and then the theme was Summer Vibes. So that's exactly what we're doing.
That was nice to let them, the audience, decide what we were going to do. Definitely a curveball for me, trying to figure out how to make the design more Kimberly like. This is definitely much more color than I'm typically used
Yes,
to, but it is fun. I just
lots
get
of
to change
color.
it up
It
a
looks
little bit.
great. Very tropical.
Yeah. And I even like how I did, I think, more muted yellows and oranges, and you went all out with your metallics and your bright yellows.
If I see two yellows on a page, one of them has to be gold. I
Really?
just, I love them. I
Oh,
love the shiny. I like, especially when I once you make the project and then you just kind of turn it back and forth and you're just like, ooh, shiny. I love the little
yeah,
gleam it does.
that is so cool. Yeah, it's the nice part is that we all have our own likes and dislikes and our way of doing things. So when you're making these types of projects, you can make it your own. They're not going to all look the same. They're not. Even if you use this template, I promise you, it's not going to all look the same. And that's the nice part.
Very true.
You see, so I like on this palm tree, I did one that was flat glued on the leaves, one with the
Ooh.
small cubies, and one with the larger one. So it looks like
Mm-hmm.
there's different layers and heights on there.
Beautiful.
Just like that. And we'll do the same for the other ones. Yeah, I think we'll have to take a poll to see what to do for our annual Thanksgiving live. And I think that would be so
Yes.
much fun. I, I really enjoy those. And those are really pretty colors. I always do more like what is it called? Like a boho color scheme. I actually have the top right
Oh,
here. So this is
uh-huh.
what we did this last time. And so I like it so much.
Oh,
These are
cute. You
definitely more
have
my color. Yeah, I have it here. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want to part ways with it, so it kind of just decorates
it.
my craft desk.
That's funny. I think we have ours and we have a bin of holiday crafts because we don't know what to do with them either. So we hold on to them until the next season so we can decorate the live area. And
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure ours is in our holiday bin.
is in there. Yeah, and that live, I know
I'm
Jeremy was there, and all three of ours looked very different, our own
Oh
unique little top.
yeah, they did look
Mhm,
different.
mhm. So I'm just finishing putting all these coconuts on there. Yeah, and we could have simplified it and just glued them on there. It works just as perfectly to do that, but
Mhm.
we like to complicate things. As crafters, we always do.
Simple is fine, but complicated so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's so much better. And so the next thing I'm going to do is just doing the lettering. We're going to have it say fun in the sun. And so you'll see there's different layers. There'll be three welded layers, and then the blue onesies are in separated, and then the top ones is white, and those you'll have to glue individually. And you can
Mhm.
use these in between them. You can use just glue. Just really depends on what you like. This topper is nice that you don't have to stick with the amount of layers. Like it's not restricted. You can make it as layered or not as layered as you would like. It's very versatile.
Yes. So I
And
got
I tend
my
to do
palm
the top,
trees.
like I tend to work by placing the top layer, putting the cubbies on the top layer. And I've seen other crafters that they'll put them on the bottom layer and then the top layer, but I don't trust my guesstimation to put the cubes in the right spot, so I always turn it around.
I'm the
Yeah,
same way.
I can't line it up at all times, so I'd rather be safe and do it like this.
'Cause I've tried to be like, I guess not brave, but like, oh, I can do it. I can just like eyeball it. It'll be fine. And then it always ends up showing cubies everywhere. I'm like, never
Yeah.
mind. I'll just go back to the safe way for me.
Yeah, I have to do that. And then especially for me, like usually I'm crafting when my kids are here, so they're not here. That's why
Hmm.
it's nice, quiet, and peaceful. But when they're here, they always, oh, mom, help me with this, or look at me. And so I
Mm.
turn around, and if I slightly move it, it's not going to be in the spot that it's supposed to. So this is the safer way to do it if you have little ones around and they can distract you. They're a good distraction. Very good. So I'm gluing the second to top layer. I'm gluing that one down. I think the cubies would be a little bit too small or too big for these small letters. I'm not as
Yeah.
patient with layering that I am like with flowers. I can take time with flowers, but not layering all the time.
I know before when there's like really thin layers as well, some people will opt for vinyl layering, which is
Oh
another
yeah,
option.
yeah, that
But of course,
definitely
we
helps.
got our paper here. Mhm.
I don't have as much vinyl here like in stock, so sometimes I don't have the colors I need. So using paper is
Mhm.
really the best option because it allows you to use and match it with the rest of your project because you don't always want to mix and match too many colors unless that was your point. There's all
I don't. We also don't have a lot of vinyl here. I mean, mostly we use paper for, I guess, obvious reasons. We got the paper glue going on,
Mhm.
but we've had vinyl here, and it's nice, but I think it's just like the blue isn't the right blue, and this paper has a lot more variety right now. Although I know that they come up with more and more colors, but I'm sticking with paper for a while. I think.
Yeah,
Except for maybe like the
yeah,
black or white vinyl. That one's pretty simple. There's some really pretty ones, but again, I think I'm happy with the foil paper if I'm going to go with something shiny.
yeah. It's doing it with the foil, and I think it just goes back to the preference because whatever You like
Mhm.
the muted tones or like a glossy or a matte, then you can definitely pick foil or paper or vinyl for that. See, and I have to use my little tweezers for this part because then my fingers are like in the way to the top of the lettering on there. And I think I took these from my husband at some point. I never bought my own, but he's not watching the live. Not ever gonna know that I did
That's
that.
funny. No one tell him, okay?
Yeah,
Everyone in the audience,
please.
promise. Cross your heart.
And I don't even know why he has these little tweezers. Like, I don't know. They don't seem like the normal tool for a toolbox. Perfect. I think we're almost there, Andrea. I think now we're just needing, once you're done with the little fun in the sun, just need our
Mhm.
little symbols, which is very simple. Just adding the little, what would this be called? The,
Oh, the
mm,
flip flop holder thing. I don't know actually what it's called.
I I think there's a name for it, but I just don't know what it's called. We want to put those on there and using our fine tip, of course, to put that there. And I even thought about how I can incorporate wood to the topper, but I wanted to keep it lightweight and simple for this. But I
Mm.
think you know very well, Andrea. I like using the glue, not just for paper, I use it for wood. So I love
Yes.
doing that quickly.
Very, very
It's no longer just limited to paper.
No, Kimberly's signs use more than signs. You made more than signs before, but yes, our glue does work on wood um, for like especially very light things. We used it to use to make our book nook the other couple lives ago. If you guys want to check that out, that is also on our YouTube, Bailey Art, and it is under Book Nook Live. That one was a fun one. I enjoyed making a little box. It does take a little bit long to glue, I guess. Not long,
Hmm.
because if you use wood glue, um, you're supposed to wait, I think, 24 hours if you use wood glue anyway. Bailey Art Glue, we used it. It dried, I think, in less than 24 hours, but I would wait for that one. But
Hmm.
it's pretty good because it's thinner glue. As far as we can tell, it kind of seeps into the wood better. So that's nice.
Yeah,
That's
like
helpful.
especially if you're using like basswood, it does
Mm-hmm.
have more pores in it, so it does allow for the glue to get into all the little areas to set. So that is really good. And I don't know, I didn't see that live, but if you ever needed to like clamp something down while the Bailey
Mm-hmm.
art glue like dries, you can always use like binder clips because we all
Oh
have binder
yeah.
clips for some reason. We never really use them for paper or documents. You can actually use those, and it's been really helpful. You just clip them to the edges, and it helps. They're a good size. They're not overly big, and in case you don't have like wood clamps or something, that would be an
Mm-hmm.
alternative for it.
Especially for like the binder clips are a lot smaller than probably like bigger wood clamps, and most of the basswood Glowforge or X Tool projects that I've seen are usually smaller on the smaller, thinner wood end. So
Hmm.
binder clips makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah. As long as you're using that thinner wood, it works perfectly. And now I'm just assembling the like center circle part of our topper. I used glue to put the thin top layer to the white layer, and then I'm using some cuties to put that white layer on the pinkish purple layer. And then I'm going to just flip it around and glue the print and cut. So I also use, this is a Barely Art SVG, actually, the little tropical drinks. And I just did it as a
Mhm.
print and created a little background for our topper. So it's very versatile. You don't have to always just cut. You can also use them for print and cut. You can recolor them
Yes,
and
I think
use.
yeah, at first we didn't know it was a print and cut when Kimberly sent it, so we started cutting out a bunch of tiny little drinks. And I was like, you know what? Let me ask. I feel like this wouldn't make sense for Kimberly to do. I think she would have told, or not told us, but wouldn't have planned a bunch of tiny little drinks because they had some tiny pieces on there. And you said you guys said it was print and cut, which makes a lot more sense.
Yes, yes, I don't want to drive you crazy. That's not my goal. Definitely not.
Like, I think we only have like about an hour for the live. I don't know how long it's gonna take to make all these tiny little drinks and put them on the background.
Yes, yeah, yeah. No, no, we don't want to do that. You're gonna have like cross eyes, and your fingers are gonna be cramping if we even attempted to do it. But I'm looking at the time now. Like you said, we had an hour, so we're running a little short on time, but we will get this done. We're almost there.
Good. We are little by
Perfect.
little getting this
Yeah,
project together, which is looking great.
perfect. And
And
so
Barbara
I'm gonna
agrees because she
show
says
you.
looking good. Hmm.
Good, good, good. So I'm going to show you a little trick. I know a lot of crafters are using the removable sticks on their toppers right now. And I always use like either like paper straws or the clear round sticks for my toppers. And what I have found is you can use like a scrap piece of paper. I usually start with like a rectangle like here. And what you're going to do is align it to the straw and you're going to kind of like roll it on there like you're making roll tacos. Going back to the food, you're doing a roll taco. And what we'll do is glue the yellow to the yellow. So you want this to be as tight as you can make it, but you don't want to put glue on the actual paper straw. And that way you can remove it after the fact. So I'm going to glue, I'll put some glue, some hot glue because I want it to dry quickly. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to glue and roll it. And then this is where I cut just like this. And you can see I can remove the straw. Okay, so I remove the straw and then on the top part of our new like little cylinder, you want to put a good amount of glue just on the rim of it on the inside. And you're going to pinch in just like this. And that way you seal your little cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like. It looks like those Laffy Taffy things coming down on the Wreck-It Ralph when they're stuck on the quicksand. And
Oh,
so that's kind of what you're looking at
yeah.
here, that it's cylinder on the bottom and then like pinched on the top. And so you can
Mm-hmm.
you can test it out. This goes back in, comes back out. And just depending on your topper or the size of your topper itself, if you wanted to use one straw or two straws, it's really up to you. And what I normally do is if I'm doing two, I would put one on each side. And if you're just doing one, you can kind of center it. You're going to glue your little removable cake topper tube and glue it down to your base, just like this. And I like using a contrasted color just so that the clients know where to shove their little cake stick in there.
Oh,
I can see it
yes,
a little bit
makes
better
sense.
because you're not really like when you're taking photos, you're not going to see the bottom of it anyways. But at least this way they
Mm-hmm.
can locate it fairly easily.
Yes, makes perfect
Right.
sense. Mhm.
Yeah, there you go. And what I realized when I do either with this or even the other like clear cake topper straws, the tall
Mhm.
cubies are a perfect height for me to use around it. So I usually like put some like right here, and that way everything starts off on that next layer,
Mhm.
just like this. And what we're going to put first is our round base. So I do want to make sure that it's around. that circle area. So I would put a few
Oh.
pieces here and there to kind of help support that circle base. And this is all what I've learned kind of just by doing. I know there's different ways and we all have our preferences, and this has worked for me. So it doesn't look all pretty or anything like that, but you can put as much as or as little as you need. And then of course take off the papers for the cubies. And before I put the first layering of our topper, I usually put some hot glue gun glue just on that tube to make sure that it secures it down as well and it doesn't move on us. And then you just place it. So we covered our removable stick and we're starting the base.
Woohoo. Looking good.
Yeah, it looks good.
There we go.
So now we're just going to start adding to all our different components that we made throughout the live. We're just going to start adding them on there. Probably with the palm trees first. Here we can use some cubies to get some, especially like the height difference between the round base to the circle base. I would put like one of the tall cubies here on this here so it doesn't droop so much.
Gotcha. We have plenty of tall cubies here for you guys.
Yeah.
We and also have the shadow cubies, which are the darker black cubies here. And if you're using a dark back of your paper, I usually like to use the darker. So there you go.
And I love how with toppers, there's like really no right or wrong way to do things. It's just kind of what works best for you, kind of just what you would like to do, how complicated you want to make it on yourself or not complicated.
Exactly.
Right. See, so we have our palm trees in there. What I'll probably do is just glue down the trunk of the palm trees to wherever on the circle base they are touching, just so that it doesn't flop around too much. It's not moving around on me or trying to cause issues later.
Makes sense.
You're seeing it come all together and it's looking really nice.
Yes, little by
Okay, palm
little.
tree there done, loving the gold on there. And then let's place our sun. I'll probably put a foamy here on the round rim so that the sun can get secured on there. See, I'm gonna see if I eyeballed it correctly, and I'm probably gonna not have it in the right spot. Oh no, I did okay. Okay, I did fine. No worry, I did fine. No, I missed it.
And I'm going to use my smaller cubies here. Sun in the sun.
Yes. So we have our sun here, and then we add our wording in here as well. And on the file, what I ended up doing is putting my offset of the entire topper, and that just helps kind of know where to place things. And that's also by preference if you'd like to do it like that or not. But I find it easier. That way I don't go too free spirited when I'm putting things together and then put it in the wrong spot. We have our sun, our fun in the sun, and then we'll go ahead and put our little sandals that have our sandal straps. I thought about what they're called after the fact.
Oh, like that makes sense.
Yes.
I feel like we might have been making it more difficult than it was.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I know there's a name for them, and it should be simple enough for us to remember. adding our sandals. I did add a little cubie on that one. I usually put my flowers at the very end, and that way I just know like where, what spacing I have for them. So just,
Mhm.
and it seems to work good. Like if I have all this already done on the top, I know what I have on the bottom, because I did not include those on the offset here. So those are
Ah,
just
I
kind
see.
of those. That's where you have kind of more of a freestyle of where exactly you want to place them.
Gotcha. Understandable.
There you go. Perfect. And then I always put my flowers before my leaves. So I just want to do like the dry fit first. So I kind of just place
Mhm.
my fingers where I think I want to have them before I glue. I'm not gluing anything down. I'm just doing a little dry fit, making sure that it looks good, not too high, not too low, and that they all fit well. Probably somewhere in here, like that. There we go. I kind of like that position there. And we start gluing them. A tip I had showed you before, Andrea, was if
Mhm.
the flowers are all the same height and you wanted to put like this orange flower, you kind of want to tuck it in underneath the others. You can always put a cubie between the flower and your base. And that way you raise
Ah,
it a little bit and they're not hiding each other or fighting for
yes.
the property. So you can do that as
Barbara
well.
says, so adorable, loving it. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
That you're enjoying. There it is. Thought I lost a flower.
I was too excited. So like the little orange ones that we did that look like the tangled, I kind of tucked those in like in between the other flowers. You can kind of just mess with
Mhm.
the petals to see where they're landing. Just like that. I do put a generous amount of glue in there just because once we layered so much paper together and with so much volume, I want to make sure that they're nice and secured on there. It's coming
You
out
hear that,
super
guys? A generous amount.
nice. And I use the paper shaping tool just to push
Mhm.
it down, making sure that it actually touches because they're layered. You assume that they're touching something on the bottom, but it might not be fully secured. So you do want
Mm.
to push it lightly with that shaping tool, and it helps it.
Alrighty. This one on.
And so if you can see here, Andrea, like here, I can see the little palm tree trunk. I can see like a little gap
Mhm.
between these flowers and then here, and then a gap between the sandals and the flowers. So that's where you just get your leaves. Usually I fold them slightly down the middle, and then I would fill
Mhm.
in those little gaps. So this is kind of where you're
Oh,
free
okay.
to put them in where maybe I should have shifted the flower, but it's already glued. So I'm going to just cover it up with a leaf.
Use mine to dry. I think I can't fit my little yellow flower in here. Trying to squeeze it in.
Maybe between the pink and the white one, but closer to the sun, like the word sun
Like,
on the top. Yeah.
okay, okay. She has vision. There we go.
I was like, and you start learning how to position your flowers, and then you realize, oh, that's probably a little too tight or too much space in between. There's no wrong way to do it. So that's a nice part.
We've got Lori. She says that's looking really pretty. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you. You can
Mm,
definitely
flowers.
customize the colors or add a character if you're having like a luau themed or
Oh yeah, that'd
add
be very
more
cute.
to yes. And that's basically it. You add your leaves. You can use different leaf styles, but this is one of the ones that you have on the website. There are a few others that I've used, and they're really good as fillers for the little
Hmm.
gaps.
In my head, I always thought leaves had to be glued first because it would be behind them, kind of. But it makes
Mhm.
way more sense to do it afterwards once you get your flowers down because the flowers are pretty much the most important thing.
Yes, yeah. So when I do that, I don't always put glue on the very tips of the flowers. Like here, it's not glued down. It's
Hmm.
mostly in the center, and that just gives
Hmm.
me the freedom to be able to like shove the leaves in there without causing damage to the flowers.
Yes. Ooh, it looks
See?
pretty.
Yeah, so that's that's our what was it? Summer Vibes cake topper.
Summer Vibes Cake Topper. Yes. All
Yes.
right, everyone. So this is the gorgeous, gorgeous project that Kimberly had designed. I have a picture on my phone. I'm going to show you guys on the camera of what the original one that we sent her was. It was very simple. Here was the original idea. I said, "All right, Kimberly, Kimberlyify it," and look what we got. Something so much more bright and beautiful. And it was again the project cake topper and the theme summer vibes was chosen by the audience. If you guys are interested in participating in voting next round, or next time around, we've got those polls on Instagram. Next project will be with Sarah from Sarah Designs in July. So those votes have been set, but we will do another one soon. But check this out. So again, this project is on our website in its entirety, barely.art for free. It's called Summer Vibes Cake Topper. And if you guys are just joining us on Facebook or Instagram, we will have the entire live on YouTube. And oops, I forgot my removable straw.
Your
Removable.
removable straw. So
Yes.
now you learned a little tip.
I did. And I'm trying to get this. Oh no. I'm
So I kind
having
of
a problem. There we go. There we go.
a little. There you go. So you
Ta-da! Look how cute that is. Fun in the sun. And Kimberly was creative and she used all SVGs from our website. So it just goes to show you again that you can make something really pretty. Don't need the biggest SVG packs or the most expensive pieces. You can do something with a little creativity and lots of practice because I think Kimberly is an expert at this point. Thank you for your guidance, Kimberly.
my
You can make something
pleasure.
really awesome and fun. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Kimberly, for joining us. Remember, guys, if you aren't following her, she is on Instagram as Sky Creations, SKYI Creations, and she's got plenty more beautiful projects that she's done. She's also on our design team, so we are, of course, very much friends and love Kimberly. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you guys next time. If you're not signed up for our email list, I think you should do that because we will tell you guys what SVGs we're using on lives, what project is up next, or what design process is happening, design process videos happening on our YouTube. So we've had quite a few different projects lately. The last one was the wedding banners. You can check that out. The actual live on our YouTube and the design process, how we got to from idea on Cricut Design Space to actual projects. So you can check that out on our YouTube. Of course, you can follow us on Instagram. That's always a great place because that's where we usually do our giveaways. And then next up, most important news is in July, we'll have our Christmas in July sale. And you're going to want to be part of that because we put those already. You can already see what we put up there. We've got lots of different pieces. I'm sorry, lots of different products on our website. You can go bailey.art and check out deals, and that's where the page is going to be. There are no add to cart buttons yet. The discounts are not live yet, but they will start July 1st,
Like,
all through the month to July 31st. I think I need a snack. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Kimberly, do you remember how we say bye on the Bailey Art channel?
Yes, I do.
All right. So we're just gonna say we're gonna wave bye. All right. All right. Bye everyone. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.